Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going on over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mad, over on my Vero at Big Mouth One, and the extension to this channel somehow is my Instagram, Big Mouth 11289. So give me a follow or an ad, whatever. Lots of conversations going on there. Lots of posing on my Instagram as well. Rapping, singing. It's a good time. But welcome to Doctor Who, Episode 3, Season 12. Welcome to my review of that episode. Now, if I recollect, and my memory's getting a bit ancient, and I've only just seen the episode now, it's called Orphan 55, right? So, I saw a lot of negative reactions to this episode on social media, and I'm stunned. I'm stunned. People hate this episode. People found this episode boring. I expected to feel really emotionally outraged by this episode about a so-called lecture on global warming. Let's get one thing clear, and you don't have to agree with me. That's what's these are why these platforms are so great and these channels are great. Everyone has an opinion, but I don't think global warming is about opinion. Global warming is a scientific fact. It is coming. Now, for the people who mock people who believe in global warming and are trying to prepare for it and trying to, heal the earth from the damage that we've done for it, it is a fact. It is coming. It will destroy this planet and it will kill us off. Human life will not be able to live on the planet Earth. And it is Doctor Who's responsibility, and it always has been since it's been created, to talk about these issues. Now, there's one thing to have commentary about, toxic masculinity, which I don't agree with, because not every man is toxic, not every man is sexist. So I don't like that kind of commentary and that kind of lecturing. That is triggering, and it's not fair for the male part of the audience. But people complaining about commentary, about global warming, I'm sorry, I can't take your side. It was great commentary. It worked. Basically, this story is showing you what could happen to us. Those creatures, the moment it's revealed and we see the Russian writing and we realise we're not on another planet, this is Earth. This is what global warming will do. This is what global warming will turn us into. I think it's good commentary. And I think it's important commentary. And whether you call it lecturing, this is the right type of lecturing. You know how I feel about Chris Chibnall. You know how I feel about season 11. It had the first 3 episodes were off the scale, brilliant, and the rest were very mediocre, watered down, and boring. I've said this a million times. But so far as I'm concerned, season 12 has been really good. Now, this is a kind of standalone episode. You don't expect it to be as epic and as awesome as episodes 1 and 2. Now, I'm on the side of saying that episodes 1 and 2, Spyfall, were absolutely fantastic. The Master, his reveal, him nuking Gallifrey, all of that. I loved all of that. You can go and see my reviews on my album here on YouTube and check those out. But for today, I'm surprised. I'm one of the few people who actually liked this episode. We saw sacrifice. We saw the Doctor, being the Doctor, standing in front of everyone, informing everyone, trying to save the day. This is what the Doctor does. And also, at one point, when she did see the Russian writing, she didn't want her friends, her fam, her companions to know about it. That's what the Doctor's done before. And also, the Doctor criticising the female guest stars. I thought that was very interesting because last year she was kind of lecturing the men. So it's fair because, the morally ambiguous characters in life that we meet are both male and female. And I think Doctor Who needs to represent that, not just keep on criticising and putting down men. Yaz was having a go at the security woman as well. So I like that. It's fair. There's a balance there. But I don't want to really talk about things like that. I like this episode. I thought This is Doctor Who. This is what Doctor Who does. They all of a sudden get into this portal, they arrive in this holiday destination, and then all hell breaks loose. That is Doctor Who. That's what New Who has been since Russell T Davies brought the show back in 2005. I don't really get people's complaints about this episode. Well, I do. It's agenda. It's agenda, plain and simple. I'm quite happy for people to say, I don't like this, I don't like that. If you're genuine, everyone has the right, and you do not need my permission, of course, to say, I don't like this. This was boring. This is crap. I don't like Jodie's Doctor. Blah, blah, blah. I've said it before, I wouldn't have cast Jodie as the Doctor. But I think the material's getting better and she's getting better. I'm now becoming a little bit more in sync with what she's doing with the Doctor. I'm starting to see her as the Doctor. As I said, I wouldn't have cast her. I think there were so many other female performers who were more suited in playing this character. But this is who we've got. She's the Doctor. She's here for this season and definitely for the next season. I think she'll do a total of 3 seasons. Then she'll be gone. I don't know about Chris Chibnall, if he'll leave after the 3rd season. That's going to be very, very interesting as well. But at the end of the day, this is not just a discussion. People talking about the Timeless Child as well. I'll talk about the Timeless Child, which they didn't cover on this episode if you haven't seen the episode. So no spoilers or anything like that. Well, there is spoilers on the episode because you really should have seen it by now. Or just don't come on the internet. It's simple, isn't it? I love spoilers and I can't see this episode because I live in Cyprus and I haven't got access to the iPlayer. I can't see it on Sunday night. I would normally watch it on a Monday. And I did watch it on a Monday because my internet went down, right? So basically, as I say, it's a solid, good episode. I wasn't actually bored watching this. A lot of people found this episode boring. In fact, I'd say some of the Capaldi episodes and some Season 7 Matt Smith episodes are a lot more boring than what we saw this week. I thought this was a really, really good, Doctor Who episode. People dying, great creatures. The budget they must have spent on this episode, it looked glorious, directed well, and I thought it was written well. It was really fast-paced. Some of the criticisms about the editing, it was a different style of editing, but it worked for me. I knew where everyone was. Some of the complaints saying that they didn't know where all the companions were. One of the problems, of course, is 3 companions. You've got to give them all some screen time, and it's kind of difficult now to cover everyone. Graham was there, but nothing really happened to him. I'm sure something will within the season. Yaz had a couple of good pieces in it, and obviously the other lad, and I forgot his name. See what I do? I always forget names. Ryan, that's it. Ryan had the biggest arc out of the companions this week. I forgot the guest character's name. I thought she was really good, by the way, and it turned out that her and the security woman were actually mother and daughter. A really great arc. I always knew the security woman wasn't dead. It was pretty damn obvious, wasn't it? But I thought it was a really good episode. I love the elderly lady who lost her husband and then she sacrificed herself because of that loss. I thought she was a good character. Not much of her. I liked the guest characters. I liked the guy with the green hair and his son who also had green hair, right? I like those characters and I like the arc. I like the son knowing his tech and knowing things that the father didn't know and the father initially not listening to him. But let's talk about Jodie Whittaker's Doctor because it's been an important evolution so far this season. And some people may not like that evolution. I think no matter what Chibnall or what Jodie do, people are always going to throw hate at them now. As I say, last season I can understand the criticisms. But at the end of the day, I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. Is it as good as what Russell T Davies did? No. Is it as good as what Stephen Moffat did in season 5 and 6? No. But I'm still enjoying it. And, this is the Chibnall era. But there's a lot more to come from season 12. Now, ratings news. I think it earned overnight 4.2 million viewers, 20 or whatever it was. But basically, well under what it did last week. So I would guesstimate, after all said and done, this will get around 6 million viewers all throughout the board with on-demand, iPlayer, and all that. Still very, very healthy. Is it lower than other years? Yes. Is it lower than last year? Yes, it's still very, very solid. But I think this is important and very interesting. If this season does work with this arc and what they're doing with the Timeless Child, I think Doctor Who could improve for Chibnall's third season. So let's talk about this year's arc. The Timeless Child is very interesting. Now, as we all know, there are rumours throughout the internet saying that the Doctor wasn't initially born on Gallifrey. She was from somewhere else, and she was the only one who could regenerate. The Time Lords and the Gallifreyans found her, brought her to Gallifrey, and used her for what she could do, maybe to even repopulate Gallifrey. And apparently another rumour is that the Doctor actually has many other regenerations, a lot of them are female. In fact, the first Doctor could be a female. Now, everyone's getting their panties in a bunch. Now, I do think it's silly. I do think it is pointless to do this. I like the idea of the Doctor having a secret past that we didn't know about. I like the fact that she wasn't, or she obviously, because she's a she right now, wasn't originally from Gallifrey, and they found her and they brought her to Gallifrey. That's interesting. Now, a lot of people losing their shit about the fact that there's going to be more female versions of the Doctor, and even the first Doctor being female. That's one thing. But now they're talking about people complaining about them rewriting the origins of Doctor Who. This is really difficult for me because I know a lot of Doctor Who fans, and we're very, very territorial about this show's origins. But I think if someone comes up with something good, and it replaces what come before, I'm fine with that, as long as I can embrace it and I'm interested in it. In terms of this, how can I judge this? How can I judge this until I've seen the whole season? We can't judge it. But everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. The echo chambers on Twitter. Oh, yeah. Let's wait and see what happens. I'm going to give this episode about... I'm going to give it 6.5 out of 10. It's basically kind of just an episode. It isn't an arc episode. It isn't an epic episode. But I thought it was a really good standalone episode, and I enjoyed it. But I want to know what you think. Yes, funny that. I do want to know what you think. Please comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please share the channel. But I'd say this is a really solid episode of Who. But I will say that it's still a lot of agendas coming from the fandom menace. And now climate change deniers are getting really angry about the commentary. Climate change is a fact. Now, I know a lot of you don't care about climate change because you believe it won't happen in your lifetime, so it's not your problem. That's up to you if you don't care. But this world will get too hot. We will all fry or drown. There's lots of ways we can help, extend the life period of humanity and the planet as we know it. And to deny that, for me, is insanity. So well done, Doctor Who, for actually talking about this. And I'll be back with next week's reaction of episode 4 of Doctor Who. And that one's in New York, set in the past. Really excited to see that one. See you then.